Hello, my lovely grade 7 students. Welcome to our English class, and let's continue focusing on introduction of speech, organs of speech, and look at what all this entails. So far I have introduced what a speech is to you. I have told you what a speech is, what it entails. I've looked at the different components of a speech. For you to have a good speech, you have to focus and have these components in your speech. I've talked about introduction. I've talked about the body. I've talked about after the body, I've talked about the transition. Then I've looked at the conclusion, and I've gone ahead to add to that, and I've added some components that are very important. That is audience engagement. The other one is purpose. The other one is audience awareness, and the other one is delivery. So all this, if you focus on all this, then you'll be able to deliver a good speech to your audience and deliver an informative speech, and your audience will like to hear what you're saying because you are aware of them, you know who you're delivering your message to, and you have a purpose. You know why you're delivering the certain components to them. So one thing you have to understand is that for the speech specifically, a speech is divided into these parts: the introduction, the body, transition, and the conclusion. So these are the four major parts that a speech is divided into. But now when you focus on yourself on how to deliver this speech, there's some components you have to focus on when you're trying to deliver this speech, and that is the audience engagement, the purpose, the audience awareness, and the delivery. So those are the key components that I have introduced. And now let's continue, and right now I'm going to focus on what we call the organs of speech. So what are these organs of speech? When I talk about organs of speech, what do I mean, or what do I mean or try to say when I talk about organs of speech? So this is going to be our major focus for this part of the session. Now, the organs of speech are various parts of human bodies involved in the production of speech, sounds. Understanding these organs is fundamental to understanding the process of speech production. Now, this is very easy again to understand. So the organs of speech, the way they just call is just direct to the point. Organs of speech are these organs or these human body parts that are involved in production of speech. When you're talking, what do you use to talk? Or when you're talking, what are those body parts that help you deliver a certain message, or help you talk or give out your speech to a group of people so that they can listen to? So what are these body parts that help you deliver a speech? So those are what we call the body organs. They are just the parts of the human body involved in the production of speech. So we have parts like the mouth, right? We have parts like the lips, we have the teeth, we have the throat, we have the lungs. All these parts, when put together, they help us deliver a certain speech and deliver a certain content to a group of people or some people listening to us. Okay, so understanding these organs is very important because they're going to help us in the process of speech production. So that is what we're going to be focusing on in this session. Now, speech is the process of producing and conveying meaningful language using vocal sounds. It's a fundamental mode of communication among humans, allowing us to share our thoughts, emotions, information, and ideas with one another. So when all these organs help us deliver a speech, so it's just the process. The speech is the process of delivering a meaningful message or a meaningful language using our sound or using our vocal sound through communication. So through the speech, we're able to share out our thoughts, right? We're able to tell people what we feel, what we think. We're also able to share information through our speech. We're also able to share ideas with one another and share different thoughts, emotions, ideas, and feelings with one another. So that is an essence of the speech. Okay, so the production of speech involves a complex interaction between various organs and structures in the human body. Like I've just said in my previous teaching, that for you to deliver a speech, there must be involvement of some organs that help us produce this speech. Now, the involvement is a complex interaction between various organs and structures in the human body, collectively known as the organs of speech. So right now what I'm trying to do is connect what speech is and what organs of speech are. So I'm connecting these two so that we can see the relationship between the two and what we're going to be discussing today. So when we talk about speech and we talk about the organs of speech, so through the organs of speech or these articulatory organs, when you talk about articulatory, from the word articulate, it just means speaking out something or voicing out something. Articulating word, it's speaking out or spelling out words or talking out words loud, right? That is what we call articulating. So through organs of speech or articulatory organs, we are able to deliver this speech or this language or this communication we want to pass across. So these organs work together to manipulate airflow, create different sounds, and perform word and sentences or form word and sentences. So you see, when these organs come together or when certain organs are put together, they are able to manipulate the airflow and create sounds that in turn come and form the words and sentences. So through these organs, through the interaction of these organs, they're able to form the speeches that we are able to deliver or give to a certain group of people. Okay, so organs of speech, we're going to be looking at these organs of speech. So first I'll start with just a few examples so that we can understand these organs of speech, and we will make sure to look at most of the examples. We will look at each and every examples of the organs of speech, understand them, and even go ahead and look at some diagrams of these organs of speech and where they are found and their functions. And the first one is lungs. As the intelligent grade 7 students we are, I know we know what lungs are. We know where they are found and we know they are used. So that is one of the organs of speech, and that is the lungs. So the lungs, the process of speech production begins with the lungs. Listen to that. Our lungs are very important. So the process of the speech production begins with the lungs. They provide the airflow necessary for generating sounds. And when you speak, your diaphragm contracts and pushes air from the lungs up through the trachea and into the oral and nasal cavities. Okay, so lungs are where our speech production begins. So anytime we talk, there's a contraction in the diaphragm. I will show you all these pictures. Right now I'm just trying to introduce the different concepts or the different organs that we have to know for us to understand these organs of speech. So I've started with the lungs, and this is where the production of speech begins. So the lungs provide the airflow that is necessary to generate sounds. So even when you're talking now, you feel there's some air that comes from your stomach or your chest. You feel that there's some air being pushed upwards from your stomach or from your chest. So this is where the generation or the production of sound begins. So when you speak, your diaphragm contracts and pushes air upwards from the lungs through the trachea. We know trachea is the passage of air. It's the part of the breathing system. I know we've done the breathing system, so we basically know what the trachea is, right? So the diaphragm pushes air through the trachea, and the trachea helps send it outwards to the nostril or to the nasal cavity, or to the oral and the nasal cavities. Okay, so the lungs are essential for pushing out air that is necessary for generating some sounds or some words. Okay, the next one is the trachea. So from the lungs, where they generate the sound or where the air is pushed up to produce some sounds, the air is pushed up to the trachea. So right now here we are in the trachea. So in the trachea or the windpipe, so the other name, my lovely grade 7 students, the other name of the trachea is the windpipe. So there the air or the windpipe serves as the passage of air to travel from the lungs to the vocal tract. So the trachea is basically just a passage. Like I said, the air is contracted from the lungs and pushed upwards to the trachea. So the passage that lets this air from the lungs to the nasal cavities or the other cavities or the parts of the parts of speech is the trachea. So trachea is just, it's simply a passage, and this passage allows air to move from the lungs to the vocal tracts. So that is what we call the trachea. Now from the trachea we move to the vocal cords. What is a vocal cord? Even sometimes, for those who know poetry, for those who sing, or for those who know how to sing, you've heard this word vocal cords, and even you've heard your music teachers talk about vocal cords. So with vocal cords, they're located in the larynx, okay? The vocal cords are found in the larynx, okay? So this larynx is also called the voice box. The voice box, okay? So the voice box is where the vocal cords are found. The vocal cords play a very crucial role in speech. When air is passed through the vocal cords, they vibrate. So the vocal cords are the crucial role in speech. So sometimes you hear someone say that your vocal cords are plain, or your vocal cords are wavery, or your vocal cords ain't that pleasant. So what do they mean when they talk about vocal cords? So the vocal cords play a crucial role in speech, okay? So when air passes through the vocal cords, they vibrate, creating a fundamental pitch and sound of your voice. Tension and positioning of the vocal cord determine the pitch and loudness of the sound produced. So vocal cords are just the vibration that is created when air passes through the vocal cord, okay? So it's the essential part for your speech. So it will tell how loud your sound is, or how low your sound is, or the pitch and loudness of your sound. So when someone is screaming, it's because they've set their vocal cords like that. When someone is soft, or talking loud, or talking slow, or very, very talking in a low voice, it's because of their vocal cords and how they vibrate. So when these vocal cords vibrate, we are able to create the speech or create sound. So that is the importance of the vocal cords, and this is very, very important for us to speak. So vocal cords are the ones that let us speak. So when the air hits or passes through these vocal cords, they vibrate. So try ask yourself, class, what happens when the air doesn't hit this or doesn't pass through these vocal cords? What happens? Do you speak? Or what happens when the air hits the vocal cords? So because the vocal cords, like I've said, they vibrate and they create this fundamental or necessary pitch and sound of your voice, okay? So vocal cords are very, very essential when we're talking about speech, or when you want to pass a certain information. Another one is the oral cavity. So this is another organ again. So the oral cavity, which includes the lips, tongue, teeth, and hard and soft palates, play a significant role in shaping sounds. So the oral cavity is a combination of other features that are found in the human body. So when you talk about the oral cavity, you're talking about the lips here, the tongue, the teeth, and hard and soft palates that play a significant role in sharpening sounds, or shaping sounds, sorry. So the movement and positioning of these structures help create various sounds. For example, the lips are essential for forming sounds like P and B, while the tongue movement is crucial for sounds like T, D, and L. So like even in my former classes for the kindergarten students or the grade 1 students, I've really talked about the pronunciation of sounds. And here I looked at how words are formed. How do we use our lips or our teeth or our mouth to form words? You find that some words are said from the lips, some are said from the teeth, some are said from the tongue. So it depends with what letter you're saying, or what word you're saying. For example, when you say P, B, you notice that it's your lips that touch and move and produce this sound, or block the air so that the sound can be produced. When you talk about words like T, D, L, you notice that it's the tongue movement. The tongue movement helps you say out loud certain words. Okay,